guys. It was a wild weekend for the Guardians, and I actually have some complaints about Terry Francona. We'll get to that after. By the way, I very rarely complain about Terry Francona because overall Terry Francona is, if not the best manager, one of the best managers in baseball.
But you will second guess him when it comes to taking people out.
And there were two things he did this weekend that had me scratching my head.
Do you want to start there, or do you want to get to Francona in the end?
Let's get to Francona at the end because I want to start what happened yesterday, guys. And obviously this weekend had not gone well. They blow the game on Friday. They lose the game on Saturday. And then yesterday, they're losing the whole time. Now, I'll give credit to Plesac, because after he gave up the home run to Cal Raleigh in the first, he settled down and pitched really well after that. Karinchak probably had his best inning in the eighth, and then Clase gives up a run in the ninth, but they were already losing. So it's 3-1 in the ninth, and Will Brennan comes through with a double. I know you were saying you thought it should have been an error.
E9.
I think it's a double. They're not going to – yeah, he's running towards the wall. I mean, in the end, you're right.
In Seattle, that's an E9.
I don't think
at home, that's a hit at home.
It's a hit at the house.
Either way, Will Brennan.
He took a bad path and got turned around.
Either way, Will Brennan, who right there looked like Nick Swisher for a moment.
Yeah, right.
A little bit. Jersey Shore.
Let's see the play again.
He got himself turned around. He took a terrible path to the ball.
But they're rarely going to call an error when the guy's back is facing the
and it
field,
goes over his head.
And it goes over his head. Listen, he probably should have caught it. You're right. But credit to Will Brennan. I mean, he smoked that ball.
Yeah,
I thought it was gone off the bat.
I did too. The wind has been blowing in all weekend.
Yes.
I was there Friday night and really noticed how heavy the winds were coming in.
Well, because Cal Raleigh hit one on Friday, I think, that I thought was way out.
Yeah.
And it got caught at
the conversation is should Will Brennan be getting some more at-bats? Because Oscar Gonzalez is
that's part of it. We'll get to that. They
later.
faced a lot of lefties, but so Brennan comes through in the ninth to tie it. They can't take the lead. Then in the 11th, he comes through again with a base hit to tie it, and then they walk it off on the 12th on a squibber to second base by Josh Bell.
68-foot bomb by Fran Mill Bell to win it.
Bro.
Josh Bell is struggling. I think people got to take it down a notch because it's only a week and a half. He's been awful so far.
He has had horrendous swings.
Horrendous. I can't defend it. He's 3 for 34.
It's not even the strikeouts. It's the fact that I was joking with Zach Meisel during the openers. Like, he's a switch hitter, and he looks like he's batting from the wrong side of the plate every time he's up. Like, he looks like he has no approach and no idea what's going on.
You know what's funny is that second to last at bat he had, I can't remember what inning it was now, before he got the walk-off ground ball, that he, should have been, whatever. It's a number. It just went in
Man, that's a fielder. That's a fielder.
It is scored a fielder's choice.
We ain't counting
it's
that.
Not a hit. It's not a hit. But, hey, listen, the run got in.
But he didn't strike out.
He didn't strike out.
Put the bat on the ball, put it in play.
The at-bat before that, Bell, or it may have been against Matt Brash. I can't remember now what inning it was. But there was a hanging pitch right in the middle of the plate, and he fouled it back.
Yeah.
You remember, he's a mess. The guy has a track record. I know he did struggle at the end of last year, but overall he has a track record. I think he'll be okay. But
I absolutely think there's a huge adjustment going from one league to the other. We see it time after time, we saw it with Javi Baez last year, struggling coming to the AL last year. I do think that there's a learning curve, an adjustment period of learning all new pitchers that you really don't ever see.
I mean, we have interleague all the time. It shouldn't be as big an adjustment.
Go look. I mean, I probably should have prepared this a little bit more, but I bet you I could pull up all kinds of guys who switch leagues later in their careers.
Yeah,
who struggle.
That's fair. I would think within, he's going Central. He played most of his career in the Central.
Yeah.
So you would think Central to Central, it wouldn't be as big a deal because you play those Central teams more often.
Well, how many times has he ever played the Mariners?
Oh, that's true.
The A's?
That's fair. They hasn't played any teams in the Central yet.
If he was hitting the ball harder, I wouldn't have no problem. Like, Kwan yesterday hit a ball right to somebody on the button. Yeah, and so when you hitting the ball hard right to people, you at least on the pitches. You're in the right area. He's hitting weak ground balls, tappers back to the mound. He's just not. He's not seeing the ball very well right now.
I'm with Bull. It's April 10th,
and he got
plenty of time.
He's traditionally been bad in April. It's been his worst month.
Yeah,
you got to give it some time.
He'll figure it out.
In the end, an exciting win. I mean, that last inning, it was an interesting move by Scott Service to walk José Ramírez in the 12th inning. I think it was it didn't work for them, but I thought it was the right call.
Absolutely the right call.
They were talking about, I was listening to Hammy on the radio at the time because I had to run out. and they were saying like, they seemed like a little surprised on the radio, but I wasn't surprised.
I wasn't all surprised.
Now, I'll tell you guys this too.
Yeah.
Did he just become this, or he was always this? It seems like Rosario is real average at short. Like he'll make the routine stuff, but the stuff like
he doesn't have great range.
He's not elite defensively, but he's come quite a long ways. He's improved quite a bit defensively from where he was.
He's struggling offensively right now.
But that's not unusual. He got off to a slow start last year, too.
He did.
I would love to see Jimenez in the 2-hole. I don't understand why their second-best hitter is batting 6th and 7th.
Yeah. Well, yesterday
I think it's out of respect
to he's crushing the rock.
But I think it's out of respect to Rosario because Jimenez should be batting 2nd.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Or 4th?
Yeah, Jimenez at 4th. Bell can't be at 4th. But I have a serious question about Bell, Rosario. We talked about this last week. I should have asked Jay, but you guys may know this. Baseball is the one sport where the best player in the world can go cold for 2 weeks and all of a sudden just snap out of it.
Sure.
They all play spring training. Why is it and Robinson Cano back in the day was like this for the Yankees. He was terrible every April and May, then got scorching hot in the summer. Why do some guys take so long to adjust to the start of the regular season? Like, historically, there are players, and Bell's one of them, who over 7, 8, 9 years always struggles in April and May.
Some guys don't hit good in the cold weather.
I was just where I was going to go. I don't know if that's Bell's problem or not, but some guys just don't.
He's only played in cold weather markets,
right?
I have a small ass sample size, but in high school, everybody, when you come from playing basketball, then you start baseball. You outside, it's 30 degrees, then it's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
If you hit the ball on certain parts of the bat, it ain't going nowhere. Like if you hit the ball on the end of the bat, you're going to ground out. The ball doesn't fly as well in cold weather. Warmer weather, it'll carry a little further. But
there's a lot of guys hitting right now. A lot of guys on the Guardians are off to good starts.
Yeah.
But yes, Bell has a history of being bad in April. Rosario got off to a really bad start. Through the middle of May, he was batting like 200 last year. Rosario, he was terrible the first 6 weeks. So we'll see.
I think he's very league average. That's why I'm not on this kick to re-sign him. I thought all along.
Rosario?
Yeah.
I think he's better than average, but he's not great.
I don't think he's much better than average. I think they can easily get out of Rocchio, Arias, one of these guys. They can match what they're getting out of Rosario.
Yeah, they got 2 or 3, 4 dudes down there. If Arias
we're going to find out anyway because they're not signing them.
They're not going to sign them.
So,
but so in the end, it was a great win because they kept coming back, right? Yeah. They were down the whole game, tie it in the 9th, tie it in the 11th, win it in the 12th. They didn't do much to actually win it in the 12th. it was wild pitches and well, not a wild pitch, but
that pickoff attempt was
Penn Murfee on the pickoff attempt to second base. And what was interesting? Another curious move by Seattle. So their 2 best relief pitchers on Seattle are Paul Sewald, who had closed the first 2 games, and so we didn't know this going into the game, but he wasn't using them last night. Otherwise, he would have. He didn't use them.
Right.
Their other good reliever, Andres Munoz, went on the DL before the game. So your 2 best relievers are down. Your 3rd best reliever is Diego Castillo, the fat guy who pitched, I think, in like the 7th inning. He's a fat guy. It's all right. Now, he's been a really good relief pitcher for a long time. I didn't understand. If you have your 2 best pitchers unavailable, why would you use your next best pitcher in the 7th inning? And then you had to go with Brash in the 9th. And then they went with guys they just called up in the 10th and 11th. Before going to Penn Murfee in the 12th, who had already pitched 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And guys, you could tell, guys this time of year are not pitching 3 days in a row. You don't do that in April. So that was kind of some weird decisions by the Mariners.
They've never really trusted Castillo with that 9th inning. I think he had 8 or 9 saves last year.
Yeah, he had saves at Tampa Bay when he was there.
Yeah, but he's never been trusted as that 9th inning closer guy.
No, but I'm saying for one game.
I'm trying to remember the 7th. What was the situation of the 7th? Was that one of those game on the line? I don't remember. I was flipping back and forth. We had family over yesterday. I was watching a little bit of the Masters. I don't remember the 7th.
You know how it is. You get the family over. You got the in-laws over. You watching, but you really not watching.
I had my brother, had my mom. We had the in-laws.
Yeah. I tell you what though, listen. This dude Kwan. This dude Kwan is turning into one of the best left fielders. He might not have no power, but this dude Kwan is getting 2-3 hits regularly. He's on base. This dude is putting the bat on the ball. And the great thing about him is it just seems like even when a pitcher hits his spots, right, and they throw a ball and it's tight in the inside, he still gets his barrel of the bat on the ball. He still can slap it this way. He can slap it this way. He just looks like a dude. Look at that. Look at his wrist. Look at them wrists.
He stands right on top of the plate. Like more so, a lot of guys crowd
I like
the plate.
when players do that.
But his toes, I've noticed in the spring, his toes are almost on the chalk. That's how tight he is on the plate. And he said he really likes it because he thinks it messes with the pitchers when he's that crowded. They can't really
That's
get
something
inside.
that Rizzo's been doing for years.
Getting that close to on the
stands
chalk.
on top of the plate. He's like, I don't care if you hit me. I'm taking it. It's to take the outside corner. I want to be able to reach that.
A lot of guys, like I said, get close to the plate, but Kwan takes it, I think, to the extreme. You don't see very many guys.
No.
Maybe Rizzo, but you
Yeah,
don't see
very
very many
rare.
guys. But Kwan's got the hand speed. He can get his hands through the zone. He can get the bat through the zone, and he can handle those inside pitches. And to your point, he can reach the outside.
Right.
As well.
And beyond that, he's a great base runner. He's a good base
he's
stealer.
terrific. Yeah.
He's a great defensive player. He's got a good arm.
He's never going to be a guy that pops on the prospect list. That's why we never really heard much about him. He doesn't have a ton of power. I think the contract thing with him is fascinating.
Yeah, but
because
that's what I'm asking.
there's no comps for him.
No, the comp is Brett Butler from like 30 years ago.
The comp is Ichiro.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah, but he's not. I can't put him at that level yet.
Ichiro's
But
arm is
Ichiro was
crazy.
a 10-year vet when he came here.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
true.
I mean?
That's true.
So there's
That's fair.
really, and it doesn't sound like they got very far in negotiations this spring with him on an extension. He's already lost 1 year off the contract time. He's going to lose this year. Really, if they're going to get anything done with him, it's going to have to be next year, next winter, or else.
You would think. I mean, I don't know, like how much. Like a guy like that, how do you pay him in free agency?
It's so hard.
I mean, maybe I suggested this guy with a Rosario comp to some degree, but like, I look at the Andrew Benintendi contract.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he's better than Andrew Benintendi.
I think he is too.
But he's a guy like Benintendi's a guy who's a good hitter, not a lot of power. But I think he's a better fielder than Benintendi. He's a better base runner.
Yeah.
That might be like nobody's paying him monster money because he doesn't hit home runs.
What's the fair
And
deal?
he's never going to hit home runs.
What was the fair deal? If you had to look at what's a
even-
fair deal, like if you looked at it and you said, I'm going to offer you this, and he turned it down, you'd be like, well, that was a fair offer. What ballpark would you be in?
I think I put him at 6 for 41, I think.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm not signing that.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember now. I don't have my phone.
That was the comp you texted me, 6 for 41.
6 for 41.
Yeah.
And I forget who I based that off of. I don't know. I don't know my phone.
Wasn't it Andre Ethier?
Possibly.
That's a long time. Even that's a long time.
I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. There's nothing out there right now.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was thinking, like, you offer him, like, a 10-year, $100 million contract.
Well, I don't know if I'm doing all that.
I mean, 10 for 10, that's $10 million a year.
It's $10 million a year. It's, like, it's not a lot per year for a guy who's going to be very productive.
No, but
Would he sign that? Would they do that?
I think I'd want to see another year. Out
Well,
of
that's what
him.
I'm saying. Let's say at the end of this year. How old is he?
20. He went to college.
He's 25 years old. I just
guess
pulled
I
up
wouldn't
the
want to sign
graphic
him for 10 years.
that Jason sent us a while ago.
Yeah.
25 years old. His prediction, 6 years, 41. His comp was 7 question marks, and his explanation was 41 million's quite a raise, but there's literally nothing to compare him to in the past.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, when I 10 to 100 with maybe the last year or two being, like, maybe it's 8 with 2 option years, 8 for 75 with 2 option years at the end.
He might mess around and make the All-Star team. He
could.
He gonna mess around and make the All-Star team, and then
he is very good to elite at everything but power, really.
Yeah.
yeah.
I already won a Gold Glove as a rookie.
Yeah,
Great speed on the bases, great contact, gets on base.
seems like a great team guy.
Yeah. And, I mean, they've already handed out 2 mammoth contracts, the last 2, and Jose and
You'd love to
Jimenez.
see it.
And
There is, I mean, can we point out the elephant in the room? There is a difference. Kwan grew up here and is American, and
Yes.
he did not grow up.
Yeah, the players that come from other countries are more likely to sign those extensions.
Long-term extensions.
But, it would be fascinating if they do sign Kwan, then eventually get Jimenez up to the 2 spot, as you suggest, which I think is where he should be in the long 2 or 4. Yeah. I know he doesn't feel like a traditional 4 hitter, but we don't do that anymore.
I know.
But anyway, if they sign Kwan, and now for the next decade, Kwan, Jimenez,
and Jose
1, 2, 3 in your lineup.
I'll take that.
That's a nice. They carrying
That's
them right
sweet.
now.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of them are playing great.
Yeah.
Brennan's obviously been clutch when he's had his opportunity, and he was clutch yesterday. Mike had an insane question about Will Brennan. What, do you want to throw that
I'll
out?
ask you, and you guys tell me why I'm wrong. I'll defend this to the death. Outside of Jose, is there another player on the Guardians right now today?
Yeah.
You want up in a clutch situation?
The last
Will
2
Brennan.
people we just named, Jimenez and
Kwan.
And Kwan. I'd much rather have those guys. I like Will Brennan. And he had a big day yesterday, but like I'm not, Tuffy Rhodes hit 3 home runs on opening day for the Cubs one year, and then hit 3 the rest of the season.
Yeah. Hey, look, see, this is.
We've had a lot of ninth.
And I think Will Brennan's a lot better than Tuffy Rhodes. But
listen, we've had a lot of ninth inning at bats this year, and there's only one guy who's consistently come through in the clutch. I'm just saying, right now.
See, you fell into the trap.
Don't sleep on my boy Will Brennan.
You fell into the trap. Bull, that was the East Coast. That was an East Coast sports talk thing he hit you with. Tuffy Rhodes.
Tuffy Rhodes,
I remember
baby.
that. I remember that.
One of the all-time home run leaders in Japan.
Speaking of, real quick, before we go to the next part of the Guardians, Steve Becker just texted us and said Michael Harris is a comp for Kwan, who signed an 8-year, $72 million deal with the Braves last year. Harris hit 19 home runs, though, last year.
Yeah.
What did Kwan have, 7?
But
if Kwan hits 15.
Well, what did Harris hit, though? What was his batting average list?
Harris last year won Rookie of the Year, hit 297 with a 340 on base percentage.
I looked at that Harris contract for a comp for someone. I don't remember who.
That's funny because he signed 872. I was just saying 8 for 75, so maybe it would have to be a little less than Harris. I think he's better defensively than Harris, but that might be a comp. I do think Harris is going to have more. And maybe Kwan will hit for a little more power. You'd like him to at least be able to hit 10 to 15 home runs. I'm not asking for a ton.
What did he hit last year? Was it 6 or 7?
Something like that. I don't remember exactly.
I'm on it. Hold on.
I think he is what he is on the power department.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting 15. I mean, maybe 1 year. I think Omar hit like 12 or 15 1 year. You might have one fluky year.
He hit 6 last year.
But to count on that consistently,
no.
I don't think that'll ever be part of
probably
his game.